If you're a small business owner and you're worried that AI means you need to completely transform your business over the next 12 months, well, I'm going to tell you something very, very different. You don't. And depending on the type of business you run, you might never need to become fully AI operational. There is so much noise around AI and digital transformation at the moment. And I think, it's really making business owners unnecessarily worried about what's actually coming in the future. I work with AI every day. I run an AI, a human business. We build lead generation operating systems. And I don't believe the future is simply going to be AI replacing humans. I think something much more interesting is actually going to happen. You do not need to digitally transform your business overnight. You can start much, much smaller. Remember those horrible admin days? Hundreds of invoices, spreadsheets, data entry, moving that information from one system to the other. Start there, it's simple. Let AI take some of the crappy jobs you don't want to do. That's digital transformation too. You don't have to hand your business over to AI. You can just simply use it to give you the time back. I'll give you an example. While I was writing a blog this morning, AI was actually doing another job for me. It was actually writing code and debugging part of one of our systems. When it finished, I didn't just blindly implement whatever it produced. I checked it. I decided whether it had done the job properly. I'd made adjustments where it really needed to be. And then I made the final decision. And that's AI human. AI does what it's good at. I do what I'm good at. And together, we can get an enormous amount of work done. Now, I think we're heading towards three types of businesses. We're going to have human to human, AI to human, and then AI led. And here's the important part. I think there will be room for everyone. A human to human business might use AI heavily behind the scenes, but keep dealing with customers and people, keeping that connection. And an AI human business might allow AI to perform large amounts of research, analysis, operational work, while humans retain the important decisions. And then, other businesses will progressively just move towards greater automation. There isn't one destination for digital transformation. In fact, I think some human to human businesses could be incredibly successful because of AI. Imagine AI takes away hours of that crappy administration. What can you do with those hours? You can talk to customers, you can visit clients, you could understand their problems better, you could develop relationships, you can sell, you can actually just run your business. Because no matter what anyone tells you, trust is still enormous. It's an enormous part of a business. You can have the best AI in the world, but if no one trusts you, your business has a big problem. AI can give you data, it can give you logic, it can give you that speed. But especially in sales, humans bring something different. They bring empathy, instinct, experience, and relationships. That's why I don't believe successful digital transformation is about removing humans from absolutely everything. It's about understanding where humans create the most value. And this is where I think things get really, really interesting. I believe many businesses will eventually have 2 or 3 major operating systems running in different parts of their company. You might have a finance operating system, you could have a lead generation operating system, and as the technology develops, those systems will increasingly start to communicate with each other. And I think, after a period of time, they'll start connecting and working like a functioning brain. But even then, I believe there will be an important point where humans still make the decisions. You take our lead generation system, Prospecto. AI, can collect the data, it can analyze a company, it can identify an opportunity, and it can tell you what it thinks you should do. But eventually, you have to reach that decision. Do I actually want to pursue this prospect? Because AI can give you the evidence. AI can give you the logic, but logic and feeling aren't the same thing. And businesses need both. If a small business asks me, where would I start introducing this type of digital transformation, one of the first places I'd look is lead generation. I'm not just saying that simply because that's what we do, but lead generation naturally combines AI with human relationships. So let the system do more of the research, let it process the data, let it identify the opportunities, and let it help you prepare. And then give that information to a human who can have much of a better conversation with that prospect. So AI doesn't have to replace salespeople. In fact, I don't think it will, ever. But it can make that salesperson so much more prepared. And here's something else I believe. AI could actually push humans to become better. If AI progressively, takes away repetitive jobs, and then, those jobs that people complain about day in, day out, they can then start putting their judgment somewhere else. With communication, creativity, problem solving, relationships, empathy, decision making. As AI gets better at being AI, humans may have to get better at being actually human. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. But one thing's for sure, don't confuse speed with success. AI might allow you to send more emails, create more content, analyze more businesses, and automate more processes. But that doesn't mean you're automatically building a better business. You can automate everything and simply become a faster, busier fool. Digital transformation has to be strategic. If I ran a traditional small business today, I would not panic about 2020, 30, or however in the future. I'd start learning it now. I'd identify the mundane work within my business, and I'd introduce AI gradually. Then I'd look at areas like research and lead generation. Then I'd start connecting those systems where they had a general reason to do it. Over the next few years, my business would then evolve. I would not try to transform overnight. I would progressively become better. And that's why I think digital transformation could make small businesses so powerful. Historically, bigger businesses had such an enormous advantage. More employees meant, more capacity. More money bought more technology, research, infrastructure, and expertise. AI and intelligence operating systems could give small businesses access to capabilities that previously required much larger organisations. But I don't think the winner will necessarily be the business using the most AI. I actually think the winner could be the business that understands exactly where AI creates the most value and exactly where humans also matter. Human to human businesses will exist 100%. AI human businesses will exist. And AI-led businesses will exist. There is room for everyone. So don't reshape your entire business simply because someone else is telling you AI is coming. Start learning, remove the rubbish, build progressively. Keep humans where humans create value, and let your business evolve alongside technology. Because digital transformation isn't about replacing what makes your business human. I'll see you on the next one. Take care of yourselves.